Welcome back. In the last video, we created engine.py, our biggest script yet. Have a go at this. Remember how much time we spent writing all of our training code? Now look what we can do. Now, you might be wondering, Daniel, why didn't we do this from the start? Why didn't we just save all of our training code to a file and our testing code, all of that sort of stuff? Why didn't we save this to a Python file from the beginning? And well, we definitely could have done that, but the reason why I've spent so much time on these steps is because yes, it's one thing to just import functions from a file, but I thought we better practice writing the code before we just copy it and save it to a file and use it later on. So we've had plenty of practice writing all of this code now, so if we were to inspect our engine.py, well, we kind of know what's going on there. So let's get out of that. How about we work on creating a utilities.py or utils.py? So if we look up PyTorch state of the art, this is a recent PyTorch blog post for training state-of-the-art computer vision models. And if we look up in here, there's a script, a training reference script. You'll notice that this is the actual PyTorch GitHub repo. This is their vision, so Torch vision, references, classification. We've got detection, segmentation, classification. Let's focus on that because that's what we're doing. They've got a train.py file. That's what we're working towards. There's transforms.py. We could create that if we wanted to, if we had some data transforms that we wanted to save to file. And then there's utils.py. So let's have a look at what's in here. Okay, smooth value. Is there a save method in here? I wonder. Save on master. Okay, torch.save. There we go. All right. But the purpose of the utils.py file is to save any utility functions. Yeah, there we go. Store model weights, which could be considered save model weights. Now there's a fair few things going on here, but do you see how this has got a docstring in the similar style that we've got? Now we're practicing a simplified version of this, but the principle is still the same. Take the useful code that you've been writing and save it to a Python file. Now, of course, you could just start with Python files, but for me, I find that I like starting with notebooks because they're so exploratory. You can experiment, and you can visualize. But I just want to reference that this is the style that the actual PyTorch team are using for their modeling code. So just keep that in mind, but we're going to create a utils.py to save our model and get out of that. So if we run this gives us a function to save the model. So you can step through this code here if you like, but we've covered this in a previous section. Let's write another subheading here. Create a file called utils.py with utility functions. So utils in Python is generally reserved for various utility functions. And right now we only have one utility function, save model, but as our code grows, we'll likely have more. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can always update these Python scripts with whatever you like. You can create them using the write file magic as we've been doing, or you can just go in here and edit them by hand. So print hi. Then if you save that, it's going to override engine.py, but we actually don't want that. So I'll just save that back or comment that out. Just something to keep in mind. And let's copy all this in here, put it down there. You might have already done this before because I set this as a challenge, but let's create write file. I'm going to save this as going modular, and we'll keep this as utils.py. Let's put a little heading here, and this is a file containing various utility functions for PyTorch model training. And now again, we've only got one utility function, but as your code grows, you'll likely have a fair few other utility functions that you could put in here. So let's see what happens. Oh, if we run this, oh, going modular, utils.py. I love creating Python scripts. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Now, instead of, oh, you know what we're missing? We haven't imported Torch. That's a good catch. Thank you, Google Colab. So, as we've said before, you have to make sure that your scripts import the modules that are required for your various code and functions that are within that script. So let's rerun that again, overriding, and then we get a new utils.py, open it up, and now that it imports torch, we don't get that red squiggly line. Beautiful. So let's keep pushing forward. We've now got to train, evaluate, and save the model. Oh my goodness, we are almost at the train.py script. So in fact, that can be your challenge for the next video. Try to turn this train, evaluation, and saving model code into a script that is train.py, just as we've created here, but with all of this functionality built in. So that ideally we can finish off by running Python going modular train.py, and it's going to train a model that is going to result in something like this. So give that a shot, and I'll see you in the next video. We'll create a train.py script.